What's up, Pokemon trainers? It's time for week number 6 as the defending champion from last week. We got week number 6 inbound. Now, as you guys all know, I did a lot of bulking and training and the like previously for gym number 5 in week 5. And so all that was left for us to realistically do is go fight Sabrina. So the team hasn't changed virtually at all. No real changes there, nothing really to write home about, and other than a move or two, and the levels are slightly elevated. But as we're about to find out in these particular matchups this Saturday, everyone was worried about my level cap. Well, I was the most underleveled team, I think, in the entire tournament, or close to the bottom anyways. So, but let's just see how I do in my matches for week number 6. So here we go, guys and gals. Week number 6 of the Pokemon tournament. My first matchup is up against Neve. So she's bringing a pretty badass team here. The Flygon looks annoying, along with the Alolan or the Galleon or whatever it is, the Ninetales, the Icy Ninetales. So let's just jump right in and see how we do. So we open up here. She brings out the, She brings out the Minion and sets up the Stealth Rocks, stays in, Ice Surf it, it's dead in one hit. Apparently, she had a plan for it to survive more than one hit, but it didn't really go anywhere. Goes out with the Spinda, goes for the Sucker Punch. I decided to stay in, try my hand at a Thunderbolt. It does alright damage. I should have just went for the stab from the get-go with Surf. Goes for the Double Edge. That does pretty heavy damage, but the recoil, of course, allows one Surf to take out the Spinda. Boom, we're down. We're 6-4 already. We're looking pretty strong, right? We're looking pretty good, and only Lorelei is taking any damage. Starts off here with the Bisharp, and I'm like, sorry, not the Bisharp, the weaker one. And I decided to switch in. I'm like, all right, what can I really do to this thing? I'm like, well, I know what I can do. I can Brick Break its ass. So I switch into Elizabeth. I take the little bit of chip damage and the Metal Claw. I decide to go for the Brick Break, switches into the Flygon. Now at this point, I'm like, okay, this Flygon, pretty dangerous. Look at that Earthquake. I thought I could tank one. Hell no, not a stab from a Flygon. It's very, I'm going to pause it right here for a second because, and I go into Balboa as you guys can see, but the weird thing is that Flygon, a little broken, a little OP, because most pseudo-dragons, as far as I'm aware, I know that at least Tyranitar and Dragonite, you need to be in the 50s to evolve. Like, I'm not going to be able to have a Dragonite until the Elite 4. The level cap doesn't allow it. But this thing can evolve at level 45. And as you can tell, 45 versus all my 40s, that is a bit of a difference. But either way, so Flygon being able to evolve at level 45 feels a little broken. Like, not even level 50 or 48 or something. No. 45, and it's like, man, that's pretty early to have one of the, like a pseudo dragon. But anyways, let's go on with this. Goes for the Earthquake. I survived the one-hit Earthquake. Go for the Ice Punch, which I don't think Neve knew I had, and I'm able to one-shot this thing, of course, because of the ×4. And I'm like, okay, this Flygon isn't that big a deal. So we go here. We got the jelly, the weird thing. I Thunder Punch it. I Thunder Punch its ass when we're taken out by the Psychic. But I was willing to sack Balboa. He had done his job. I jump into Brute Root here, expecting sort of a switch, but it doesn't come, and I end up killing off the. I recover my Stealth Rock damage, and I get the Giga Drain off. So at this point, jumps into Nicole, the Galleon, Alolan, whatever, the Ice Ninetales. So the Icy Ninetales. Now, sets up an Aurora Veil. That's a bit of an issue because my Giga Drain does absolutely nothing. Goes for the extra sensory instead of like an Ice Beam or something like that. I get flinched though because of this, and that's really annoying. I'm being chipped by hail, all this stuff. I take another extra sensory. It's still super effective. So I decide, you know what? Let's sack Brute Root. Let's go for a Toxic. Let's do some damage to this thing because we're 4-2, but this thing is setting up it. I feel like Neve's got more in the tank with this thing. So, and I don't really have a whole lot as far as I'm aware, other than of course Ninetales. But Ninetales comes in, and I'm like, am I faster than her Ninetales? And with the Aurora Veil up, I don't kill it in one hit, and I have to take another extra sensory hit. I'm down to almost half health. The Toxic isn't enough to kill it, but I do end up killing it with another Flamethrower. Now, herein lies where I, of course, GG once I took care of that Ninetales, and boom, we have a Flamethrower. It doesn't kill because of the Aurora Veil once again. uses a berry of some description, citrus, something like that, and goes for the slash, doesn't manage to kill me, and boom, we end up winning that match 3-0. And GG to Neve on round 1. Let's go to round 2. Okay, so now we're into round 2, and here is where you guys are going to see something slightly different from last time. So we jump in again. The Minior comes in, and I'm expecting something a little different this time, but lo and behold, still starts off with the Minior, and I'm like, well, rock flying, thunderbolt, kill it in one hit. I'm faster, and boom, we're still up that thing. Now here is where you guys are going to notice a bit of a trend. I don't have anything against this Flygon. I do, but look, I take the Earthquake, I did the switch, now Balboa's down, can be taken out, I go for the Ice Punch, and realistically, my only real attacker for this thing. Go for the Thunder Punch knowing it won't kill, and this is a mistake on my part. I know it's got the Psychic moves because it's Water Ghost type, and I let Balboa fall down. That is a big mistake. That's a big mistake. And then I make a bigger mistake by jumping into Lorelei the Lapras here to take this thing out. Because now I've taken damage on her. Even with the leftovers and stuff, that Flygon has Earthquake. If I don't keep an Ice type available and I go for the Surf and stuff, I'm making dumb decisions. Because Neve is chipping away. She's chipping away at my Ice users, the ones that can take out her Flygon. And I'm just being stupid here, thinking, oh, I can take out the Flygon with something else, like Earthquake. You know, the Venusaur, I'll Toxic it, I'll Will-O-Wisp it, I'll do something to it. But no, as we will come to see, none of that's going to work. I take the Double Edge, I'm going for the Surf, and I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever. Okay, well, we get a little bit of leftovers left, and I sack Lorelei, thinking nothing of it. Look, this thing is almost dead. I can just jump into Raichu here, Thunderbolt it, Brick Break it, whatever. Goes for the Sucker Punch, forgot about that, and we take some damage off of Raichu. Not that it really mattered at the end of the day. That wasn't my bad play. My bad plays was letting Hitmonchan and Lapras be sack, because look at this damage output. What am I supposed to do to this thing? Earthquake would have one-shot it regardless the amount of health. Boom, especially at level 45. The 5 level, this is 5 levels in the difference of most of my Pokemon. So this is a bit of a problem. Goes for the U-turn into, and this is going to be the issue. Goes into this U-turn. I go for the Toxic, as I told you guys, trying to plan for this. Now it's just Toxic, the Ice type. So at this point, I'm like, instead of keeping this thing in, that might have survived another Earthquake, I decide, no, I'll stay and sack this thing. I'm sure I'll be able to Body Slam it, take this thing out, not realizing that with the setup here, I switch into Maid Marian. The Hail is doing chip damage, sets up the Aurora Veil, and at this point, there's no winning. Because that Aurora Veil is going to stay for way more turns than anybody should. Aurora Veil is fucking... I've never heard of this move before. Must be a newer move from a game I'm not familiar with or I never played. But feels pretty goddamn broken because that thing stays for not 2 to 5 turns. That thing stays for a maximum of 8. So at this point, even though the Flamethrower wouldn't have done much more, I had set up the Calm Mind to do a heavy amount of damage, hopefully burn. Didn't get it and only doing chip damage at this point. The Aurora Veil is still up even when the Hail's gone, but this thing is going to be faster than my Venusaur. Kill it off in one hit. And of course, Nidoqueen. Are you guys noticing a problem here? Between most of my Pokemon, Earthquake, ground types hurt me. Ground types hurt me a lot. And that match goes to Neve, GG to Neve. That Flygon is dangerous for my team. Way too dangerous, but let's see what happens in round 3. Okay, so now for the third match. Now I have to play around this goddamn Flygon. I need to make sure that I try to keep my, at least my Hitmonchan, who Neve now knows. She knows that I've got Ice Punch on that thing, and also same with the Lapras. I know I'm going to, because of the speed difference, I know I'm going to have to take one Earthquake. If I'm at full health, I might be able to tank one and get an Ice Beam off. But Neve also knows this, so let's just see what happens. So that Flygon is the most dangerous thing. I predict that she's gonna still start with this thing, and I start the same way as before. The Raichu managed to do that without taking any damage. Boom, boom, boom. No Stealth Rocks to deal with, and we're off to the same start as before. Same as before. This time I switch out, and I'm like, I'm gonna Toxic this thing. Gonna Toxic it. The Earthquake does too much damage. Does way more than I thought. What happened to my bulk on my Venusaur it's down and out. It's gone. That level difference is mattering, I feel. And then this is where I jump into Balboa. I don't have a choice to scare this thing off. Go for the Ice Punch. I don't predict the switch. And now I decide to switch into the Raichu because as I told you guys, got to keep my Hitmonchan healthy. Goes for the Psychic, of course. And once again, switches out. I go for the Thunderbolt, hoping it's going to stay in, that she's going to sack it. So no, I didn't predict a good prediction there. I decided to sack the Raichu. I'm getting flustered and frustrated at this point because I know I'm not going to be able to kill this thing. She's going to continue to use U-turns and switch out, and I'm not going to be able to predict any of it. This time, I try to predict the switch. It doesn't happen, but I take U-turn damage because I did, but the Quick Claw, blah, 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 and I don't know what the hell happened there, you know? Like, that was a little bit of tomfoolery at that point. And now I take a Dazzling Gleam, hoping that I can do something with a Fire Punch to this thing, which I do. Fantastic, trying to kill it before it sets up the Aurora Veil. But now I've taken damage from the Hail. Balboa's down. The Mach Punch might have killed off this thing, but if I can't kill off that Flygon, that Flygon's going to run through my team unless Lapras or Balboa stays alive. And look at this. Look at this. It's faster than me, and it's going to take me out. So, I mean, a Mach Punch wouldn't have done anything anyways. Just a little bit of chip. So that's extremely annoying. Balboa's already down. So I jump into Lorelei. Full HP. The Hail's not going to do anything. Goes for the U-turn to do, once again, damage instead of switching. Now, I don't think I can survive an Earthquake from this point, even with the leftovers, because I know here comes the Double Edge. I stay in stupidly, because as I said, not thinking it through, very flustered. I assume that the Lorelei's already down and out and sacked, because the Earthquake would kill me from that range. And at this point, I'm like, well, I just got to keep killing everything and hope to God maybe I get a burn or something like that. I'm just going to keep killing whatever Neve throws at me, and hopefully, Lorelei serves a purpose. She does, because look at her go. She's killing off the rest of this team. Without that Flygon, Neve, it becomes my bitch. Pretty, relatively speaking here. Lorelei can run through most of this team. But at this range, there's no way. I have no priority moves, and boom, an Earthquake kills. Would I have survived at full health? Probably would I have survived at 70. Maybe. But once again, I'm now weak to this Earthquake. Even with that burn, I have nothing to stall out. The Earthquake's going to not kill me, which leads me to believe that Lorelei would have survived had I been smarter about this. I go for the Flamethrower, hoping for a crit, hoping for anything. The Earthquake is still super effective, of course. That burn is not enough, though. Even with the attack drop, it's not enough. 17%. I need to get one hit in, and I might be able to survive this. I survived the Earthquake. That's fantastic because of that drop, but now I'm at 49%. What am I up against? A Water type. Out of all the Pokemon remaining, I'm up against the Water type. I have nothing for it. One Water Pulse. I'm down and out. And now I'm in loser's bracket. I played this game particularly shitty. And I should have played it a lot smarter. I was too worried about the Flygon, and Neve was calm and collected, and I was flustered. So, GG to Neve, but now I'm down into loser's bracket. So now in loser's bracket, we're up against Fuse. Now, I'm looking at this team, and I'm going, okay, I think I can work around it. But as you guys will soon see, there's an issue. Once again, not only is ground types an issue, ground type, with Flygon and stuff, we're going to see that issue repeating itself. But let's just get right into it. So, we start off this match. I'm hoping to win. I was the defending champion, and now I'm already in loser's bracket after one round. I feel like I need to redeem myself, so I'm going to try to play this game a little smarter. So I'm trying to play it smart. We get Toxic here, which is very interesting. Toxic on a Camerupt. Now, I still go for the Surf, because I do good even with a resisted hit. It's a stab move from a Lapras. It's pretty strong. And I'm like, well, alright, let's not play that game with the Toxic. So I throw out expecting an Earthquake or something, but no, it's a Rock Slide. Very interesting move, once again, on a Swampert. So I go for the Leech Seed here, predicting a switch, that he wasn't going to, do anything. And this is great for this thing. I can't survive an Acrobatics. Holy shit, is this Crobat stupidly broken. This Crobat is dangerous. So I switch back into the Lapras hoping for an Ice Beam. Ice Beam hit, that's fantastic, but now I take Toxic damage, switched out back into the Swampert. goes for another rock slide, and the rock slide this time, of course, super effective on my ice typing. I might have killed off the Swampert, but once again, this was another me misusing Lorelei. I keep misusing my ice type at this junction. I keep misusing her. She can't outspeed anything, and I should recognize that by now. So, anyways, at this point, I jump in predicting the discharge, the electric attack coming in from the Manectric. Though, once again, Raichu can't take a huge hit, even a resisted hit. So, knowing that he's going to switch, I decided to go for the Brick Break. And it's a good thing I did too, because I get a critical hit off on the Camerupt, which is, part of the problem. But I've also now sacked my Raichu, the thing that could have resisted the acrobatics of the Crobat, and also gotten off a one-hit kill with the Thunderbolt. So at this point, we're playing a little bit of chicken with each other here. Who's going to switch out from the Nidoqueen wheezing sort of fallback? Nobody can really do any real damage, and I'm recovering with the leftovers, even if that was the case. And I'm just slowly chipping away at this thing. I finally get the paralysis, which is fantastic, but realistically, switched out, nothing to write home about. Switches into the Absol. I get the paralysis, which is fantastic. I'm recovering still. I go for the Brick Break and get a stupidly strong move. Has the Citrus Berry. Gets the Psycho cut off, unfortunately. So I was recovering health, but now, I took heavy damage. Thankfully goes for the Protect, though. This is great for me because it's not doing really anything. The Protect is not doing anything for Fuse. It's only doing good for me and my recovery. So now I'm back up into the green. So I end up having around 66% health. This is looking pretty good. Here comes in the Moondrags. Now I'm going to try the same idea. 37% hit. Now I'm hoping here, okay, body slam this thing, paralyze it. Don't get the paralysis. 37, I'm hoping for that was a high roll. It's not. 35% health, and I'm taken out. This is a bit of a problem. Maid Marian comes in. I'm going to go for the Flamethrower, of course. This thing is faster and hits stupidly hard. Like, how hard does this thing hit? It's faster than my Ninetales. It kills my Ninetales in 2 hits. I couldn't have killed this thing in 2 hits. It's bulky, it's fast, it hits hard. This Crobat has to have so many 31 IVs or great EVs because it's stupidly strong. It's just running through my team, as you guys can tell, stupidly, and it outspeeds me no matter what. So, sweep right there off of my team. I only killed 2 of Fuse's Pokemon, and at this point, I think it's over, guys. So as I said, at this point, I can't do anything against these ground types. Not only do I have to contend with the dual ground typing with the Swampert and the Camerupt, and I can't seem to play around anything this week. I wasn't able to play around the Flygon well, another ground typing. It wasn't the Dragon, it was the ground typing that fucked my day, and now I can't play around Fuse's ground types either. I'm really frustrated at this junction, and that Crobat is broken. Stupidly strong on all fronts. I can't kill it easily. I can't avoid it easily. I can't take a hit from it. I can't outspeed it. There's nothing I can do to this Crobat. So going into this match, I had already called GG, I think by turn 3 or 4. But let's just see what happens. Starts off with the Crobat. I start off with the Lapras. This is a pretty good start for me because I go straight for the Ice Beam hoping he's going to stay in. Or no, I went for the Psychic hoping for the switch. And there was a switch. I was just hoping for a Wheezing or something like that. But anyways, at this point, we jump back into Brute Root. We're trying to kill off the Swampert. We need Brute Root to do more stuff this time. So we end up going for the Giga Drain. It does so minimal damage because Fuse knows how to play now. Fuse knows how to play with this Crobat, knows it's my biggest weakness, knows that if I pull out anything electric, it's going to jump into the Camerupt. If I pull out anything, that's not, jump into the Crobat because I have no answer for it. I've got no answer for this Crobat. So at this point, I'm trying to get the paralysis off. I actually do, hoping that the speed is going to help. It semi-does. I get the paralysis 1 time. Managed to take this thing down to the yellow. I'm recovering my leftovers. Once again, this Acrobatics, 38. How did it do 37 before, 34, and now a 38? That's a wide margin, and I'm a little weary about that. So anyways, at this point I jump into Maid Marian, hoping to kill this thing off. I know the flamethrower will do damage no matter what with the special attack. I jump into the Venusaur here for this Camerupt. There's a reason for this. I knew it was going to use an Earth Power. So I decided to Toxic this thing. The more things I can Toxic and do chip damage over time, that's all that Venusaur is going to be good for at this point. He's going to play around my Venusaur way too well, and I'm thinking, okay, if I can chip away at this thing, maybe I can survive some hits. I jump into Lorelei here, predicting the switch into the Swampert, and I still go for the Surf though. The stab damage does significant damage. So I take the Rock Slide stupidly. This is where I should have switched. I take the Rock Slide instead of switching out to the Hitmonchan, and then I do another Surf. I end up going to be able to kill this thing. Goes for another Rock Slide. Look at this damage. Does only 19%. I would have been at half health, and Lorelei would have been perfectly fine. So I made stupid decisions there, knowing he had Rock Slide, knowing that's what Fuse wanted to use. And at this point, once again, being stupid. Instead of switching, I decided to take Sludge Bombs on my Balboa with a versatility. I had versatility on especially the Mach Punch, the priority, and I'm taking the Sludge Bombs. I'm taking the damage. Why? I can't kill this thing. I'm just trying to chip away at it. For what reason? I don't know. I'm playing like an absolute moron. So there goes Balboa. I sacked Balboa. For what reason? Your guess is as good as mine. Jump in right here. This is all it would have taken. Take a Sludge Bomb, flamethrower it down. Gone and out. Done. Jumps into one of the bane, not the bane of my existence, because I know I can kill this thing off in 2 hits. But that Earth Power, 1 hit, done. That Camerupt is strong. But once again, Ninetales ain't bulky, so I buy that. This is where I go into Lorelei. I predict a switch, but I still go for the Surf. I do good damage, but now what do I do? Now what do I do? It's going to be the switch game. I'm going to switch into the Raichu. I'm going to take a heavy overheat hit. And then, even if I'm faster, which I am, I go for the Brick Break. Now the overheat still manages to kill off the Raichu, even with the special attack drop. I go for the Brick Break, assuming the Camerupt switch. It didn't happen. I should have just went for the Thunderbolt anyways. I was stupid. But I assumed the Camerupt was going to come in. I hoped to kill off the Camerupt and predict the prediction. I didn't manage to. The Manectric might have died, but now there was still a fully healed Absol waiting in the wings. I would have outsped the Crobat with the paralysis, which was nice. I finally got the bane of my existence out of the pitcher, but what was I going to do next? What was I going to do against the Absol? The Absol was going to be able to chip away at something. It would have outsped everything I had. I think it would have survived at 1 Thunderbolt, I believe. So, yeah. I just played this match. This is probably the worst match I played. Against Neve, I was playing stupidly around the Flygon. And then in this match, I played, I think, the first match okay against Fuse. But the second match, I was throwing the game. I was playing really, really shitty, really poorly. Not to take that away from Fuse, but and GG to Fuse and Neve. But going in after climbing, this hasn't happened since week 1. Week 1, I lost in my first round, and then I lost in the losers bracket. So I was getting extremely annoyed at myself. I was getting really frustrated at myself. GG to Neve and Fuse, they just played well, but I was getting more and more frustrated at my team. I wasn't, as you guys can tell, I don't think I played very well. Do you guys think I did everything I could? I don't think I did. I think I could have won these matches. And I proved that in winning round 1 against Neve. I think I could have won these matches, but I didn't. I played poorly, and now we get 0 points. 0 points this week, and yeah, so GG to Fuse and Neve. GG to them. They have great teams this week, and looking forward to see who wins the tournament. So let's get back to it. So much for a defending title. So much for a defending champion. It didn't even take Artist to be in here for me to get my shit kicked. I never even fought Cryptic or anything like that, which a lot of people, he's got a really good stall team and stuff like that. But I went up against Neve, did pretty good in the first round, but then I had nothing for that Flygon, and I'm seeing an issue with the team overall, and it's not much I can do about it because of the limited move pool available in Fire Red Leaf Green in Generation 3. There's not a whole lot I can do about the move pool problem as far as that goes. But also, there's also another issue. One specific other issue is, and we saw that with Fuse's team as well, is, once again, The move pool. The move pools are a problem, but also my type matchups are a bit of an issue this week. Next week might be better. Who knows? But we're going to have to wait and see. I was relying too much on bulk, but they have so many hard hitters. Is what it is. So we lost. Not very graciously, of course. We only won one match, and then we got knocked down to loser's bracket, and then we lost our first match in loser's bracket. So no points for me this week. I didn't give up any points, which is nice, but clearly somebody's going to surpass me this week. I was only at the top reign for this 1 week, and I've got 2 titles at the top once, and now I'm back down to being one of the losers. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens next week. Because the team may or may not change next week, where it's not such a short, you guys will see the afterplay later on with the just going from Koga to Sabrina, really, really quick sort of idea. There's more. There's going to be more to it. Going down to Cinnabar, going to the Seafoam Islands, doing the Pokemon Mansion, doing Blaine and stuff. There's at least a little more stuff there. There's more to do. There's the power plant. There's a few more options now open and available to us. So we'll have to wait and see what goes down with that. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry to disappoint everyone this week that has been rooting for me. But like, comment, subscribe as always. It's always very much appreciated. And we will see you guys back here next time. Don't forget the 4th and most important thing, to drink responsibly as always. And we'll see you guys back here next time. See ya.